Hey, so shout outs to all the viewers out here. Um, we are sorry about the technical difficulties we had tonight, but we're about to jump right on in, y'all. Like I said, we got Ferris, Dixon in the house, um, and we're gonna have a good night and make this a very enjoyable interview.
Hold on.
So,
Hold on a second. Say, hold on. We still got more. Hold on.
okay.
Hold on a second. Yeah, Mike. You good?
Okay. Cool. Can you see me?
You good?
Okay. Cool. All right. All right. So, uh, for the people out here who don't know who you are, uh, I let them know Ferris Dixon. And where are you from?
I'm Ferris Dixon. Detroit. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Five-time national champion. Um, was a prospect for USA boxing. 5-1 professional box. Well, 6-1 professional boxer. Sorry, I just changed that last weekend. Um, and I'm also an actor.
Oh man, big ups to the actor, man.
So yeah, that's who I am.
That's live. That's real live. Right there, all right, we're gonna talk about the boxing, and then if we have time, we'll jump into the acting toward the end. All right, so what was life like growing up in Detroit in the D?
For me, life was hard. Um, I ain't always like I didn't really have I had my dad in my life. He was there off and on. Um, my mom was always there. She was always working. It was just really me.
You want to hear?
You can still hear me, right?
Hold on a second. Okay, go ahead. You good?
You can still hear me, right? Okay. Making sure I can hear you.
Oh, y'all couldn't hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you now.
Okay.
Sure. Cool. Okay. Um, now, how old were you when you first felt that boxing was something you was interested in?
As a kid, I used to always do it. I mean, I used to always fight in school and like outside on the streets and stuff like that. And like one day, one of my friends, my best friend, he was a boxer, but he don't currently box anymore. He took me to the boxing gym downtown. Downtown boxing gym. It was on Detroit East Side, on St. Aubin. That's where I first started at. Um, when I got in the gym, like it was just, I don't know, it was like, it was just like that's what I wanted. It was just like from that point on, I knew that's what I wanted to do. But I also play other sports in between that. But like boxing always just, I don't know, it stood out to me because like maybe I just enjoy like punching people in the face or something like that. But boxing just stood out, and that's why I just kept going boxing.
Okay, man, that's what's up, man. Um, so like, what weight do you walk around at?
Currently right now I walk around only like 142 pounds, 145 pounds out the gym. Um,
Okay.
yeah, that's it.
Now,
A lot
now,
of people think I walk. A lot of people think I walk around like 160, 170 because I'm, I'm big. I'm muscularly cut up. But no, I
right, right.
just I know how to maintain. I know how to diet right. So
Yeah, I see why they think that, man. Because you know, you real buff. Like you can
mm,
tell you work out and hit the gym and you eat
every
right
day.
and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could tell. That's motivation, man. On a guy like me, almost 46, man, that's motivation. I got to get back in the gym myself. Um, all right. So, like when you're in your camp, how many meals you eat a day?
Sometimes, sometimes I can eat 2 times a day. Sometimes I eat 3 times a day. I don't really miss any meals. A lot of people miss meals while they're in camp. I don't miss meals.
Okay, okay.
One thing about me when I'm in camp, and I don't even want to tell a lot of boxers this because they already should know this, but you should be drinking a gallon of water, every day or while you in camp. Every day while you in camp. And that bottle of water after when you cutting the weight and you eating right at the end of camp and it's time to lose the rest of those 3, 4 pounds, that's all water weight. So that should be easy to cut off. That should be easy for you to lose. It's nothing but just you probably go run or, move around or do a little something. You lose water weight. Use the bathroom. That's just water weight. And that's one
Okay.
thing that I do while I'm in camp. Like I drink a lot of water. Make sure I stay up on my water. What all the water that I intake in my body, because a gallon of water, it's like 8 pounds on a person. Like if we put drinking it, it's a gallon, it's 8 pounds. So every day when you drinking that, you got to know you putting 8 pounds in your body of water, and you got to get it out and everything like that. As a fighter, you got to know this.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting for me to hear it from an actual boxer and others who
yeah.
not boxers out here viewing. It just kind of hear the perspective and different things that a boxer goes through. Mindset, regimen, camps, the way
I
you eat,
mean,
the way
it's
you
only
sleep.
hard to those. It's only really hard to those like if you a lot of people kill themselves to make certain weights. A lot of the 130s and 135s, they walk around 180 pounds and stuff like that. If you're a fighter, a real fighter, you got to maintain that. Like me personally, I say it's okay for you to gain about 10 pounds. That's normal to be walking around at least 10 pounds over your weight or 15 pounds overweight because when it's time to get in camp, that's really not going to be a thing to burn off. But if you got to lose 30, 40 pounds every camp, of course, there's going to be a lot of mental aspects you go through and a lot of mood swing, like I say, mood swings and stuff like that you go through because shit, anybody cutting 30 pounds and stopping what they doing every day from eating this type of food to now I'm switching to eat this food, it's gonna hurt your body. A lot of people gotta understand that their body is growing. They are not young anymore and stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh man, okay, there's some deep stuff there. Um, Now what's your height?
I'm 5'10" right now.
Okay, okay, okay. That's what's up, man. Um, Now I did check out your fight. I think it was your third fight. Daniel Ariega,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a nasty body shot in the middle of that round, the second round. You hit him with that right on the belly button. You know what I'm saying? And I could tell that first initial punch, it did him in. His body
Mm-hmm.
language and everything. And then you followed up with another body shot, and he just had to take that knee. I'm like, whoa.
I mean, as a fighter, like in that camp for that fight, like that's what we worked on. We knew like anybody we get, they can't. A lot of people can't take body shots. A lot of people don't like going to the body. A lot of people don't like to feel the body shots. But
Mhm.
but they'll go down to the body. So me, I took it as in like I took camp as in I was going into a 12 round fight. I didn't take it as I was about to go fight 4 rounds, 6 rounds, anything like that. I was preparing for somebody way better than what I had. I was preparing for a fight, and when me preparing for a fight, I was preparing for him to come in hitting me with body blows and throwing body shots at me, and that's but in the sparring sessions, like I started loving going to the body, and when I started loving going to the body, I seen in that fight like, oh, every time I hit him up top, his hands just keep coming up, and I'm like, when my coach told me in the corner, stop head hunting, stop head hunting. Well, my old team told me stop head hunting. Okay, and that's when I seen it. I opened up the body shot, seen it for myself, and opened it up and threw it, and it was right there. So,
Okay. So, who are your top 3 favorite boxers?
we talking about right now, all the time.
Okay, let's do this. Both, if you don't mind. So, all
All right,
time
I'm gonna
and
say
currently,
right now. I'm gonna say Terrence Crawford.
for sure.
I
For
like
sure.
Devin Haney. Well, it's between Devin Haney and Tank.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, Tank, my dude.
I got 3.
I
My
rock with
two,
Tank.
my two is 3 fighters. It's a toss up with to me personally. Devin Haney, Tank, and Shakur. Them
Okay.
3.
Okay.
Um, and I say my third would still be Canelo.
Okay. Canelo. Shout outs to all them guys. Yeah, Canelo
And
Alvarez,
I'm gonna tell
Crawford.
you my all time favorite top 3. I like Terry Norris. Um, I love Floyd, and I like Adrian Broner.
Shout outs AB, West Side of Cincinnati. Yeah, for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
That's Adrian Broner was like the first. Adrian Broner and David Haney, it was like the first 2 people, like, and Robert Eastern that I came up like watching as been coming in the game. That's like my area of boxing when they was doing their thing. And Adrian Broner was the fighter like that. I was like, yeah, I want to be like him. So that's who I try to mimic my style a lot behind Adrian Broner.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Um, Speaking of that, shout outs to my dude Marcus from up North Ohio. He's a huge AB fan. And my
Mm-hmm.
cousin Cam J Networks. He does boxing and all sports coverage, and they crazy about AB. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's up, man. Maybe in the future I'll be able to get him on this platform one day. Um, all right, man. So is are you still there?
Go. Continue to jump back on.
Okay.
Continue to jump back on.
Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, we got
There we go.
Ferris
You can
Dixon.
hear me?
So yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
I
definitely.
can't hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Keep doing something. It's like it's froze.
Froze.
Yeah, on him.
So,
Okay. Um, if you hear me, man, I think it's froze or something. But y'all heard what he said. He's a fan of Adrian the Problem Broner. He also is a fan of Terrence Bud Crawford. And to be honest, as a Spence fan myself, I do respect everything, all the accolades, all the hard work, the dedication that Bud Crawford has put forth in boxing. Like I said, I'm personally a Spence fan, but I give credit where it's due. And Bud is that guy. Because I didn't see Bud beating Spence. And he tore him out the frame. I didn't expect it.
I expected it.
Yeah, man, he's a beast, man. So I say salute to Bud, Omaha, Nebraska, and he seems to be very passionate about community too. So that's kind of like what I eventually want to do, help out the youth here in Cincinnati. So I'm gonna start going around to different gyms, uh, do like drives for the school kids when the school starts and stuff. I want to do
Mhm.
like a lot of positive things. Yep. So you say you're an actor too.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. So what what film are you in?
McGrath season 3, episode 5, airing at 8 o'clock tonight.
Oh, it's
Every
airing
Sunday.
tonight. You hear that?
Yep.
So you said it's called McGrath.
McGrath season 3.
McGrath season 3. He's going to be on there 8 o'clock. What network is on or channel?
Uh, you click. We got our own website, something like that.
Okay,
I'm gonna send it to you after
send
this.
it. Okay, send it to me,
Gotcha.
and I'm gonna send it to my
Mm.
brother, to my engineer,
We
and my
got
brother. Yeah,
our own website.
got
We
your own
drop a
website.
lot of
That's
shows
live.
on there. We're
Okay,
actually in the way of filming another one called Buffed Up Too. With another Detroit movie.
okay, Detroit based. Okay.
hmm Um,
Oh man, I like that.
that's really it.
So you entertain in the ring and on the screen. As far
Yeah.
as playing movies and stuff. So that's good, man. Especially at your age.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody really doing that. You said
Uh-uh.
you're 22?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, man. That's great, man. That you got a big jump in life and doing a lot of positive things at the age you are, man. Because I know it ain't easy growing up in the jungle, you know. And I know Detroit is rough. I got family there, so I do
Mhm.
know that it's rough up in the D.
If you know how to stay out the way,
For sure, for sure.
you'll be all
Yep,
right.
yep. That's the main thing. If you stay out the way, you'll be cool. But if you get caught up in certain circles,
It's just the
man,
people.
it's sticky.
It's certain people you can't surround yourself with. Certain people you can't get caught up with the wrong crowds. You
Facts.
got to do what you got to do. I feel like that's. It's not even just Detroit. I feel like that's anywhere you go. You can
Anywhere,
go.
right?
Like Cincinnati or anywhere. You can go. Texas is probably the same exact way. People probably have similar lifestyles, tours or harder. But it's just
Right.
all about
Oklahoma,
like
it's all around.
And I just left Oklahoma, and I didn't expect Oklahoma to be similar to Detroit, like kind of sort of, as it
Right, right.
was. So
Yep. But that's the main thing, man. You just stand out the way. You said some real talk right there.
hmm
Because I had to learn that as I got older. Like, you know what? I'm running around with certain people that I know what they're into. I got to be a little careful because I don't get caught up. you know, things
yeah,
like that. Yeah. Um, all right. So you broke down your 3 current and the older type fighters. Um, so I want to shout out some of the Detroit and Michigan players as far as in boxing. Clarissa Shields, Flint, Michigan, stand up.
hmm
Tommy the Hitman Hearns, a legend I loved when I was younger. The Crunk Gym, shout out to the Crunk Gym
yeah. Shout
up
out
there
to
in
them.
Detroit. Motown, the Motor City. I got a couple of nicknames. Um, and then my cousin Alan off of 8 Mile Road in Gallagher. When I used to come up and visit him back in the day. And Floyd Mayweather, all the Mayweather family
hmm
from Michigan.
You got to throw Tony Harrison in there too. You got to throw Tony
Tony
Harrison.
Harrison. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because his comeback fight, he was looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was looking good for sure. And I know she ain't from Detroit. She's from Ohio. But
Alicia Baumgartner.
Alicia Baumgartner.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely tune into your link for that movie tonight. You said
Yeah,
it's going
sure.
down in about an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we wrap everything up, man, anything else you want to say? And then you can tell them where to find you, like all your platforms, like from TikTok to wherever you at. Just let them know where to follow you, man.
Mm, I really don't have really too much to say. Y'all supposed to be seeing me much more. Y'all supposed to been seeing me earlier on in my career. I had a little bit bad management in the beginning of my pro career, but I took a year off after suffering my first loss. I'm back. I just fought last Saturday, and I'm fighting again in my hometown, Detroit, Michigan, at the Motor City Casino in the Soundboard, October 24th. Um,
Okay.
Tickets are out. Um, if you know me, you know I'm gonna put on a show every time I step in the ring, and I'm gonna come flashy. I'm gonna give a show, and I'm gonna bring my crowd, and I'm gonna make sure that everybody get their money's worth with those tickets. Y'all know me. I'm back, and I'm back to show everybody that it's boom time.
I heard him, y'all. That's the nickname. Boom, aka Boomer. Ferris Dixon, y'all. Now where can they follow you?
You
On
can
your
follow me
platform.
on Instagram at Real Team Boomer. And you can find me on Facebook at Ferris Dixon. I'm third, 3 L's, or however you want to put it. Yeah, you can find me there. You can also Google me or whatever you want to do. You can find me anywhere. Um, I'm always open for any boxing courses or anything anybody has, interviews, so on and so. So feel free to hit my DM and let me know.
Okay, and what we'll try to do is since you got a fight on the 24th up there in Detroit, after that fight, we can talk about the experience of that fight. And then if you know of the next fight after that, we can kind of talk
Oh, I
about
got
that
two. I
opponent.
got that one. I got another one lined up too. Yep.
Oh, you got them
On
lined up.
December
Okay,
6th.
cool.
Yep.
Okay, that's live,
We can
man.
do it.
Kind of
Y'all will
already
see
got
me
it.
again. Y'all will see me again after the
Uh-huh.
fight.
So the 24th, I did look at your box rec, and it said TBA to be announced.
They're still looking. Well, I have an opponent. It's kind of hard finding me an opponent because a lot of these guys out here don't want to fight me. And there's a lot of these guys that y'all know, y'all seeing, you know. But thankful for my team, home of champions. Thankful for my manager Joshua. My coaches, squad boxing. Thankful for my team. They keeping me in the gym, keeping my head on. My girl, my family. That's just all I can think of. I ain't really got nothing to say, but a lot of these fighters are ducking me, and they know who they are.
Okay, okay. Well, signed, sealed, and delivered, y'all. Ferris Dixon. So, man, we're gonna chop it up soon, man. You be safe and text or message me anytime. If you just
Gotcha.
want to talk about certain stuff, it don't matter. Sports or whatever.
Gotcha.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, peace. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we had a good time sitting down with a one-on-one with Ferris Dixon, aka Boomer. Just kind of taking us down the road of what it takes to be a future champ in a rough sport, but at the same time, um, doing something that's able to keep him from getting caught up in certain lifestyles. So he's able to do his thing with his boxing. He's acting. So, hey, that's big at the age of 22. So salute to Ferris Dixon. So let's see what else we got going on in the sport of boxing. I know David Benavidez and Anthony Yardy is one of those fights I'm looking forward to. Lamont Roach versus Pitbull Cruz is another fight I'm definitely keen on seeing. There's another fight I'm definitely keen. And just all things boxing is definitely what we're looking forward to. So let me get some shout outs in the chat room. Big shout outs to Cam J Network. Shout outs to G Dash out of Zone 15. My cousin Trill introducing me to you. McGraw Avenue. Definitely check out the film that Ferris Dixon's in. Shout out to Steel Mills Boxing, Omaha, Nebraska, in the building, North Side. Okay, salute to you. And thanks for following through for the night. I'm happy you came through. Again, G Fresh checking in. Big shout outs. Big Zone 15. What's up, family? Cousin Scoob, Zone 15. What's up, Cuzzo? Thanks for following through. Steel Mill Boxing. You said Ray Robinson and Joe Louis. Them are like your all-time favorites. Can't go wrong. I need to watch more footage on Joe Louis. I know he's a beast, and he's known for his left hook. I did see him against Ezra Charles, who's here from my city in Cincinnati, but that was kind of Joe Louis towards the end of his career, and they had a lot of respect for one another. So shout outs to rest in peace and shout outs to Joe Louis and Ezra Charles. Steel Mill Boxing. You said Jermaine Franklin, another Detroit native. Yeah, and I actually think he probably fights in Detroit sometime, but I want to say Jermaine Franklin is from Saginaw, which is kind of like near Flint, and there's another little small town outside of Detroit, but it's still, in Michigan. Yeah, man. So it was a good night of boxing. So what y'all think about David Benavidez, Anthony Yardy? If you have a prediction, how do you see it going? I personally feel like the first few rounds would probably be fireworks. It's probably going to be a situation where it's a lot of stand your ground in the pocket. David Benavidez, Anthony Yardy in the phone booth, just throwing big shots. But I think the longevity of the fight, to me, goes in favor of David Benavidez. I feel like Anthony Yardy being so he's a real solid bulk guy, but got the kind of muscle more like a bodybuilder. I think that's going to catch up with him as the late rounds start to come. If it is to make it to round 7 and round 8 and beyond, I feel like David Benavidez still has conditioning and stamina. We saw him look strong against Caleb Plant towards the end of that fight. I feel like Anthony Yardy could gas out, and if he does gas out, he will consequently be knocked out. And then with the Lamont Roach and Pitbull, I think Pitbull is no walk in the park. I see a lot of people saying it's an easy win for Lamont Roach Jr. I digress personally. I feel like it could be a 50-50, 60-40. Even if I lean towards Lamont Roach a little more, Pitbull Cruz ain't going to ever lay down for nobody. And Lamont Roach showed me in the tank fight, he's willing to stand in the pocket with you. So unless he's using a more tactical defensive and he's moving around using the ring and trying to box a little bit, I think if he's trying to brawl and trying to slug, Pitbull, that's right up his alley. So if he plays into the strengths of Pitbull Cruz, it could be an early night. You know, that's what I feel like. I want to know your opinions and predictions in the chat, please. Here shortly, the heavyweight fight with Magmadov versus Dave Allen. That's going to be another big fight. Dave Allen, to me, is maybe average, maybe slightly above average. And I respect him because in the interview, he basically said, hey, I know my limitations. I know where I stand pretty much. So he's never tried to put himself up there on a certain level to feel like he's at a certain level because he knows his capabilities and he knows his limitations. Magmadov is just he's just a real big guy, and I think most people's consensus on the whole situation is they feel like the approach and the blueprint was given when Magmadov got dropped by body shots from Ajit Kabiel. Well, Ajit Kabiel, to me, he's very, very good. Don't get me wrong. He's very, very good because he is undefeated at the moment. But I feel like Dave Allen has enough in him to adopt a similar strategy to be effective against Magmadov. You know, he's going to have to zone in on the body more so than trying to worry about, throwing uppercuts and haymakers and hooks to the head or to the jaw. Go to that body, man. Stick to that body, man, because there could be potentially vulnerability there. I mean, it may not work for everybody, but it doesn't hurt to try. If it was effective and worked for Ajit Kabiel, I say go with that blueprint, see if it works for you. And if it doesn't work, then you have to make adjustments. You and your cornermen and your trainers. But I think that would be what he would want to do when he's dealing with the much bigger Magmadov. Let me see. And kind of living up to what Ferris Dixon was saying earlier, man. Yeah, Bud Crawford is the real deal. I mean, it's no denying it, and I'm gonna just call a spade a spade. You know what I'm saying? He's earned his keep, and I think that he'll keep. He's not going to just retire right now, in my opinion. He still wants to prove to himself and to his doubters that he can still, be great and take on some good competition. Now, in y'all opinion, if Bud Crawford fights, say 2-3 more fights before he retires, maybe 4 fights at the most, who are the opponents that y'all would like to see Bud Crawford face? Let me know in the chat. please let me know. All right, let me read these chats here. And make sure as you come in, hit the thumbs up. Because I'm not going to be on here a lot longer. Hey, JC, can you drop a link real quick? The link in chat. Cam J said winner of Genevieve Laura. Hey, Cam J, he gonna drop a line for you real quick. We could chop it up for a little bit because that movie's coming on at 8:00. So I'm gonna shut it down in roughly about 20 minutes, half hour. Yeah, man. As far as Genebek, I see a lot of his notifications on Twitter popping up. I haven't really done my due diligence to really do a lot of film study on him, but that'll be my homework for this week. I'm gonna look up some of what Genebek has done. One second, Cam J. It should be okay. Make sure you unmute. It looks like your
Oh
microphone.
yeah.
Okay.
I had my mic off. What's popping? What's popping?
Hold on one second, Cam.
I do.
I can hear him over there but not. Hold on one second, man. What? I never disengaged this, so I'm wondering why.
They not.
Hold on one second, Cam. I might go out and come back in. Oh yeah.
You did.
Tell him to give me 1 second.
Yeah, disconnection now.
All right, you there, Cam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I can hear you. Hold on 1 second, brother. Okay. All right. So What's going on?
Man, not much, man. Not much, man. Boxing crazy. A lot of movement in here, man. It's been a crazy week in boxing, even though it ain't been much action, but it's been crazy with the drama that everybody likes to bring to the table. But it's all good though. I'm excited. I
Mm.
will say I am excited though for some of these fights coming up, man. I see PBC they're lining up, a schedule that's pretty solid right now, starting this month with Fandor and Thurman, October 25th. Then you got you got Pitbull Cruz, and you got Lamont Rose Jr. December 6th, and then Manny Pacquiao and Rolly January. So, along with possible they're going to be probably holding the Tio and Shakur fight too, even though that ain't been finalized and sold up yet. But got some good boxing coming up, man. Of course, we got Boots this next week, man. Boots and Lima, man, fighting for an interim WBA title at 154, which is something I spoke about a while back when they announced this fight, where I was like, don't be surprised if the fight end up being an interim title fight. You know what I'm saying? And Abaz Maru, he'll be waiting for the man, Uzma Lima and Boots Ennis, man, which is very interesting to see how everything play out. Now, I got a question about this, and I seen somebody say this earlier. I could ask you this, Ben. Do you think Boost is taking the easy route with the WBA instead of the other three sanctioning bodies? Because I've seen some people screaming it out earlier today, talk about Boost going the easy route with the WBA instead of going through the WBC with Fundora and the WBO with Xander Zayas and the IBF with Bachram.
Hmm. I never thought about that, but now that it's brought to the light, I mean, I'll say like this: it could be a method to his madness. It could be something strategic, but I personally didn't see him doing it for that reason.
Right, right. And I mean, then another thing too. What fighters not moving strategically out this way for getting particular fights and particular looks and stuff? Everybody's moving strategic in a lot of ways. I mean, and that's why I've been making my message known throughout this whole week, saying that yeah, we put all of this energy on one guy in the sport, but we're not putting all of the energy among all of the guys around the sport because there's a lot of guys that's not fighting guys that the fans and the media want them to fight.
Right. Spot on with that, man.
That's been
Hitting
my
you
whole
100.
entire message throughout this whole entire week is we have to look at the whole landscape. We just can't put all the harness on one person. You know what I mean? And you can't put all the harness on Bud Crawford to be like, oh, Bud Crawford, let's fight David Benavidez. He don't want to do that, so we can't put that on him. You know what I mean? Like that's not what he
Mhm.
want to do. We can't put the harness on, Tank Davis, declining to take over 100 M's to fight Jake Paul and to fight for 20 or 30, fight Lamont. You can't be mad about that. You know what I mean? Like we just hope as boxing fans that, Tank come back and he gets involved with some real fights that we want to see him in. That's all we hope. We hope for.
Yeah, man. That's real.
And
That's
even
kind of
if
like
he and
what
this and then that's the crazy part too though. Like, cause I posed that question to my brother Dean on his channel the other day where I'm like, are us as fans, do we care about the fights or we care about the fighters?
mm,
That's a real question to be answered from a lot of boxing fans for real. That I've heard several of them say they care for the fights. And you see some people they say they care about the fighters. I feel like if you care about like as a fan, you become a fan of a fighter due to, their upbringing, you resonating with their story, you know what I'm saying, liking the way they fight, liking the way they move in the business and everything. And you got a lot of these other fans out here, boxing fans, they just want the fights but they don't
mm,
care about the fighters in reality. They just want the fights. And it's been
right.
showing a lot throughout this week with people.
Interesting, man. Yeah, that's a very good.
Because if you care about the fighters, then you're going to care about like the business on how the fights are being made. You're going to care about their well-being, as far as their mental and physical, as far as them being ready and prepared for fights. Like that's a real. I feel like that's a real boxer fan when you care about everything around the whole entire landscape and not just the fights.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy you brought that up, man. Sometimes certain things you say uh, make me mentally expand, or that's why I like this too, because it helps me do research. It helps me go back in my memory bank some and keep my mind a little sharp. So I'll be needing these kind of talks sometimes just to open up, what I mean, the membrane there. Um,
Absolutely, bro. Like it's about just like with boxing is just like I like to think in deeper perspective with certain stuff. And
mhm.
I know a lot of people probably don't think the way that I do at times with certain stuff within the sport. But at the same time, though, it's always great dialogue for everybody, though, when we get into these certain conversations about, whether, the fans love the fights or they love the fighters, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, it poses for great conversation, which is well needed within the sport. Like it's well needed.
And it's like you said, the care about fighters as individuals. So like me, for instance, and me and you, I've seen you allude to this in the chat, in the group chat. Muhammad Ali, of course, they got the Muhammad Ali Act. But even if we set that aside for a second, just what he meant outside the ring, but also what he did in the ring. And at a time he was doing what he did, that's in the era of my dad, So when we talk about old school fighters, my dad gravitates more to Joe Frazier. That's one of his favorite fighters. So even though Ali beat him twice in the trilogy, something about Frazier, my dad just liked that.
Right,
Maybe the
right, and
backstory about him coming up rough or whatever. He liked that kind of stuff.
absolutely, absolutely, and
But
I've
yeah,
mentioned I've mentioned throughout this week though, like right now, that within the sport we're in the era of these boxers being divas. It's the diva era. A lot of these boxers they are divas. They spoil you. They didn't got paid a lot of money to fight in particular fights coming up in the game and stuff in recent time, and then a lot of these fighters are spoiled out here. So we're in a diva boxing era right now. This era is not this era that we grew up watching for us, like the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s. It's not that anymore, you know what I mean? And but we have to appreciate the fights that we are getting though, because we do have a lot of other great fights that we are getting within the sport, but a lot of people don't want to talk about them. They only want to talk about the same 5, 10 people, which as I said,
hmm
that's not elevating the sport. Elevating the sport is covering the whole sport as a whole, as far as the whole entire landscape. And that's I feel like that's the way that it should be. You know what I mean? For us covering these other fighters, the prospects coming up, the amateurs coming up. It like the amateurs and some of these prospects, like I've been mentioning over the last couple of months. These are the guys we're going to be covering, like Ferris Dixon. He got 2 fights coming up. He's fighting in October and he's fighting in December. You know what I'm saying? He's staying active. No, we got to, show these guys love, man, because these are guys that we're going to be covering over the next 5, 10, 15 years.
right, for sure, for sure. Um, man, you bring us some good stuff, and sometimes it be a lot to take in at once. But definitely, it's good to see people like Ferris Dixon, Scooter Davis, who you had an interview with, to kind of see them in their beginning stages as they
Hmm.
start to blossom into the future in the sport of boxing. It's
Guys,
good to see them
it's
at
a
this
beautiful
stage.
thing to be. It's a
Yeah,
beautiful thing just seeing somebody grow within the sport.
hmm
Like, with me, watching, I've been covering Abdullah for, the past 4 years. A lot of people in
for
Ohio
sure.
wouldn't even hit to Abdullah. You know what I'm saying? And I can say, like, of course, Marcus from Ohio Runs Boxing, he was pushing Abdullah heavy. I know myself for sure. I know I put a lot of people on to Abdullah when he was coming up over this last 3, 4 years myself. So like with seeing him grow into the sport, and now he's about to go for a world title November 22nd in Saudi Arabia versus Sam Noakes. It's just a beautiful thing to see like him growing and doing his thing in a big way. Like and it's I look at it the same way even with my high school kids that I cover in high school football here in the city in Cincinnati. Like seeing these kids grow and play ball and do they thing on these Friday nights after me interviewing them and everything, just seeing their growth. It's an amazing thing to see, man. I love seeing people win. That's one thing I get enjoyment of, seeing people win and grow.
Man, you said a mouthful there, and it's a great thing. It's a good way to outreach in ways. You know, because I've always wanted to connect with people. I was always told I was good with networking years ago.
Hmm.
My brother JC told me that. Man, you're a good networker.
Absolutely.
Or my mother, you a
Absolutely.
good connector. You know everybody. Cousins were telling me, you know everybody. So it kind of helped uh, a platform like this for me to be able to connect with people
Yeah,
internationally.
and you able to express your feelings and express your thoughts and stuff as far as the sport and everything, which is like that's one thing I got into, creating content was for myself to be able to express my thoughts because I've always, been covering sports for over the years and always been a fan of boxing growing up, and talking boxing, debating boxing with people in the barbershops and in the bars and stuff like that and everything. And it
Hmm
just, I decided to come up with KMJ Network over, the last few years, which is, I've only been on YouTube for less than a year and we've been making great progress over there. But I look at it as, I use the platform to try to make an impact on others. I want to be able to make an impact with my platform. I want to be able to, push some of this younger generation that's out there. And of course, I want to be able to express my thoughts. I be having thoughts and stuff. I see a topic and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm about to do a video on this. I'm about to add this in the live stream. We're gonna cook up on this and stuff. But I always want to make notion to everyone though every show, every video that we do is we always have a message behind what we're dropping for as content. It's always a message behind it. I mean, that's one thing I really want, people to know that, when you watch me, when you watch Being Green Wild Boxing Podcast, we always have a message behind, you know, whatever we're covering, whatever topic that we're going over and, and talking with you guys out there.
For sure, man. Yeah, it's nothing like it, man. Um, I'm just so happy that that light bulb just went off in my head one day. I'm just thinking. I'm looking at YouTube all the time. I'm looking at boxing interviews like IFL TV and Radio Raheem. I'm looking at these guys. I'm like, man, how do I do what they do? I'm just trying to I'm trying to put it all together, but
I
my
mean, you
mind,
putting it together though. You putting it together though, because it's
yeah,
like the more that we work and we work in the game and we build more connections and build more network with others, it works. It works. It works,
hmm
and it ain't like there is people out there on YouTube that just don't know who Ring Wild Boxing Podcasts are. People know who you are. You know what I mean? They know you in the boxing space because the YouTube space. I feel like all of us that run boxing content, we pretty much know like we know a lot of people that's run boxing content. We should say that on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people running content, but we know the ones that stand out pretty much. Let's say that. We know the standouts on YouTube. You know what I
Right,
mean? And,
right, right.
this platform, Ring Raw Boxing Podcast, it stands out. We know that you live every Sunday at 6, and we know you're going to be presenting a great show for us, boxing topics and covering and giving your thoughts on, a lot of these topics within the sport.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, man,
You
salute to
know.
my boy, yeah, man. That's my dog.
Oh
I
yeah,
see
yeah,
you,
man,
brother.
for sure. Shout outs, Zone 15 Love, right back at you,
Right,
man. Appreciate the positivity, man, and people saying certain stuff. It just kind of propels me to keep pushing. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Right. It's like it's all about being consistent in the game. And that's one thing I've been trying to do, in recent time. And I know a lot of people, a lot of my little following be like, man, Cam ain't been dropping too much as he used to the last week, man. But I got everybody though, man. But it just, it's always trying to be consistent and always trying to put out great product. Like me, I won't run a show if I'm not ready and to give the content and give the content that I want to give out to my following. Like I'm very big on that for sure.
Hey, man, that's just being prepared. Um, Kind of like what's the best way to say it? Like you're prepared, or like just say you got weapons and you're at a war. Just speaking hypothetically, you got all these different things. You got your grenades, you got your pump, your handguns. You know what I mean? You got more than what you need, but you always got backup. So it's kind of like
Fact.
this with this. You always got your things you need, your documentations, your receipts. You know what I'm saying? Your different things to
Yeah,
bring
yeah.
into the to
I'm
an
calling
argument.
my new name, man, Mr. Receipts, man. I like to pull out the receipts on these guys, man. Mr. Receipts, man. I think it's important though to give people visuals on stuff though, because then you get in some of these particular debates with people and stuff within the sport, and then people be like, "Oh, such and such said this." I'm like, "Well, such and such said this," and then we pull up the video or pull up the graphic, and then they be like, "Oh, okay." Like, so it's the gotcha moment, man. I think I love the gotcha moment. I think I get a thrill out of that at times when I'm debating some of these guys.
Man, that's what's up, man. You know. Um, so like I said, man, that show's coming on in about a half hour. So I'm gonna stick here for about another maybe 10 minutes. Um,
Absolutely.
what are like two or three of the top matches right now that you're really eager to see? Upcoming matches.
Hmm. I would say, I definitely,
Favorite to least favorite.
I would say I'm very intrigued with Fundora and Thurman, and throughout
Absolutely.
that whole entire card, because it's that card in general is so many
Mhm.
moving pieces for the sport within that one card. You got Frank Martin fighting Francis Bartholomew. You got
Ooh, that's gonna be good.
um you got Jesus Ramos Jr. fighting Shane Mosley Jr. for that 160-pound WBC title. It's the interim title, but you got Carlos Adames. He's he's looking like he's going to move up. So that's why PBC look like they put that in play where they're like, okay, Carlos, you're gonna move up to 168. We're gonna head and put Jesus Ramos in position to fight for that title, and he ended up being the champion of that title. And both of those guys are PBC guys, so that looked like that's in place. So that's another big movement within the sport too. Um, you got Elijah Garcia coming back on the card. They announced that this week, a couple of days ago. So that's big to see what he does on his comeback fight. Um, and who else? Who else is on that card? Oh, yeah, and the big one, Foden and Foster.
Oh,
That's a big
that
fight
card
for
gonna be
that
off the chain.
130. Yeah, that's a big fight for the 130-pound division right there. And Foden's moving up from 126, challenging himself, challenging Foster for that WBC title at 130. And that's the
Mhm.
co-main fight. And that fight is a true 50-50 fight itself. So like I said, within this card with Fundora and Thurman, the whole entire card is a lot of moving pieces for the sport. And that's why like I love to talk about full, cards like this, because it's a lot of motion within the sport with some of these fights, and a lot of the boxing fans don't understand it. But it's good for us to be here to explain it to them. Like, okay, this is a big fight for this division. This is another big fight for this division. A lot of moving pieces. Whoever wins these fights is going to be a lot of big motion for these guys coming up for their future. So I definitely say the Fundora Thurman card. Um, that's a big card that I really, really love. I really want to say I say the Pitbull Cruise card with Lamont Roach. That's a significant card for sure. With that fight in particular, a lot of people looking at it like, Tank may come back and fight the winner of that fight. We don't know, but a lot of people has that in mind. And then you got
Mhm.
Janet Beck and Iris Londi Law. That unification at 160 is going to be the co-main for that card. So we got a couple fights for that card already. So that December 6th card, Pitbull gonna bring them out in Texas for that. Them Spanish, them Mexicans, they gonna be outside for Pitbull in Texas. So it's a real interesting fight right there. That's one that I'm really keyed on. And the November 22nd, man. November 22nd is the best card of the year for us just from top to bottom. With David Benavidez and Anthony Yardy, Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. and Bam Bam Rodriguez, Fernando Martinez, and Artur Beterbiev on the card fighting David Nicholson. So you got a lot of,
Oh yeah,
then
kill.
Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes. Can't forget the, our guy from Ohio, Abdullah on the card. So like that's the best card from top to bottom out of all of these, cards coming up in the fourth quarter. And I'm really intrigued by that card. There's so many fights. I can't wait for that card. Like I love that card. And I would say another card it's a couple other cards too that we got to pay attention to. Like of course Boots Ennis is next week, October 11th, and then Verge Ortiz and Erison Lubin November 8th. You got Kid Austin fighting JoJo Diaz on that card. Joshua Edwards, the heavyweight prospect that we've been talking about from Golden Boy. That's um, from the U.S. Another American heavyweight that hopefully we can get into the fold and hopefully he can become something good, man. We know we missed out on the big baby Anderson situation. We don't know what he got going, but it is what it is. Prayers for him. And
Mhm.
that November 8th card is definitely a significant card for sure with Verge Ortiz and Lubin. It's a lot of moving pieces within that fight and throughout that whole entire card as well. And the Joe Apatow and the Sakura fight card that's coming up with they got Justice Huey. Justice Huey's going to be back. He's going to be on that card.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, Justice Huey's going to be back on
cool.
that card, so he's going to be on that card. And another one, the Connor Ben, Chris Eubank Jr. We got that again. It was just it's some moving pieces within that card too, for us the undercard too as well, and as well Fabio Worley and um, Joseph Parker. Big fight for the heavyweight division. The winner of that fight may be seeing Usyk possibly when Usyk decides to come back and everything. And we got some crazy undercard fights for that card too with Javier Herrera. He's fighting in the WBC title eliminator. You know what I'm saying, for Shakur's title. You know what I mean, with another guy. So it's a lot of moving pieces, man. That's why I said it's so many fights out here and we have to enjoy the fights that we are getting. That's why I keep encouraging our fan base. Is like, yo, we got all these other fights, but y'all want to talk about this guy and that guy. Man, let's
Right,
talk about these other fights that we got going on. We got some great fights coming up in
great,
this
some
fourth
great
quarter.
fights. Yeah,
Great fights from all of the divisions. Even Narwhal anyway gonna be back for the third time in December. You know what I mean? He's fighting in a unification fight. You know what I mean? Him and let alone with Junto Nakatani, which is, they all gearing them up to try to fight each other. Narwhal anyway and Junto Nakatani for next year. Junto Nakatani's he's number one in two of the sanctioning bodies at 122 for Narwhal anyway. So that's why I said it's a lot of moving pieces. That's why I said people just got to really tap into the sport and follow us because we cover the sport and we give y'all all the real news on the sport.
for sure, for sure. So two more things before we leave. I talked about a little earlier, and I think you mentioned it about Dave Allen and Magmadov. How do you think
Yeah,
that's gonna
yeah,
play
that's
out?
what I mean, it's a fight for David to to look well in the fight. It's not an easy fight for him. It's not a layup,
Right.
but it's a good fight for David to test where he's at. I know Eddie Hearn is moving David Allen very smooth and slowly for sure. But
Mhm.
no, if you got guys like he got Terramona. You know what I'm saying? You got that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Got that
And
guy
Eddie
right.
Hearns, he looks like he's more high on Terramona than David Allen. Like then
Right,
he has
right.
then Eddie Hearn has another heavyweight. I can't think of his name right now, but he has another heavyweight that he's pushing heavy too. So David Allen, he has to understand that you got two guys on that staple that's heavyweights, and them two guys, they gonna be looking to overlap you eventually. So David Allen definitely got to handle business in this fight coming up for sure.
And to your point, that kind of like back in the day, how Dillian White was, doing his thing, but of course AJ was going to be, what I mean, that main guy over there.
Yeah, yeah, bro, exactly. And like even with AJ, man, you got AJ. He'll be back next year. They looking to have him fight in Ghana, and no, I'm just interested in who's going to be the first, who's going to be the op for Ghana. That's what I want to know. Who's
Right.
going to be the op for AJ in this comeback fight? That did. Hopefully, they could try to get Tyson Fury out the woodworks and get him to, stop making videos, him training in the pool and all of this extra stuff. Yeah, I mean, we want to see
Exactly.
Tyson Fury at the ring, man. Tyson Fury be doing too much capping in this sport, man.
Way
Like,
too
and
much.
if you're gonna be gone, be gone. If you're gonna fight, let's fight. And we want to see you
Yeah.
fight. We want to see you fight regardless. I'm cool with both of them guys if they get a tune up in before they fight each other, but we just want to see the fight. I've
Right.
been on record saying on your show and even on mine that the UK, that country, they're salivating over that fight and they want that fight so bad. And I feel
Hmm.
like that country deserves that fight, and AJ's willing to give it to him. It's all about if Tyson Fury's willing to give it to him.
Facts. You make a good point. Shout outs to the UK and all the guys that I talked to over there on that side of the pond. Okay. My very last thing I want to see, something that kind of went up under the radar for me, but I know a lot of times you might catch something that I don't see. I just happened to be scrolling on my YouTube, right? And I saw to where Amir Khan's, he's been involved with, I think Ghana or somewhere over in Africa. They had a card, um, and it looked like it was like a 5 hours long.
Oh yeah, yeah. Amir Khan just
Got the
he's getting into the promotional game now, and he's promoting some fights and stuff now. So he's getting into the game, which is it's dope to see these fighters, some of these ex fighters come back in the game, and they put they harden their soul into the game and invest in their time and money into the game. So yeah, Amir Khan just had a card recently. Manny Pacquiao, me and you talked about it a few days ago with Nico Ali Wash about to fight out there in out there in the Philippines for the Thrilla in Manila, the 50th anniversary for that, and Manny Pacquiao's throwing that card where it's going to be a slew of top ranked fighters on that particular card too. So top rank with them not having a network right now, they're in a position where like they're sending their fighters at different places to fight, just like they just Top Rank just put together a card for Rafael Espinosa for November in Mexico, where you're going to see Richard Torres fight on the card and Emiliano Vargas. They're going to be on that card as well. So like you seeing how Top Rank they're putting some of their fighters in position to stay active and stuff while they try to figure out their network situation and stuff. And oh yeah, I meant to ask you, did you see that with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom where they're going to be Turkey's buying out more stake in the Matchroom?
Yeah, I got to get deeper into it, but I
Yeah,
did.
I didn't read deep. I didn't read deep into the story 100% yet, but I seen it briefly where I seen that it was a story that basically Matchroom they're selling more steak. So Saudi Arabia, Turkey already then had like 13% of Matchroom, I believe, from what I read yesterday. And then now I seen Eddie Hearn post, on his social on IG earlier. talking about it, but he didn't break down what everything was in depth. But he had a picture with Turkey Al Sheik, and basically was saying that they look forward to working with Turkey Al Sheik and stuff. And yeah, man, Turkey Al Sheik is buying more stake in the Matchroom, where Turkey Al Sheik, he's going to be owning that man, Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn's going to be bending the knee like he been doing and shucking and jiving up there with Jive Turkey.
Right. Well, man, that's what's up, fam. We're gonna get ready to wrap it up, brother.
Yeah,
I
brother, man.
appreciate you
Salute to
stopping
you,
through
brother,
like you
man.
do.
You already know, man. Y'all already know. Subscribe to your boy, man. Cam J Network. We working. I'm gonna have some content dropping in the morning for sure. I'm gonna work on some stuff tonight. And we'll be live Wednesday. We be live every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Sorry but not sorry, Boxing Talk Wednesdays, man. And we're gonna have fun, man. We're gonna have fun, man. So just stay tapped into the channel, sub up to the channel, and follow me on my journey, man. Follow me on my journey.
Absolutely, brother. You have a
All right,
good
brother.
night.
Salute, man. You already know. And make sure y'all hit that like button. Y'all watch this on the playback for my brother, Ring Wild Boston Podcast. Bean and JC, my guys work extremely hard on this every week on this show. And I need y'all to really support my brothers, man, for real. They real, they family, they authentic. They've been doing this thing for a while and they consistent. So support my brothers, Ring Wild Boston Podcast for sure. Much love to y'all. Much blessings to everyone. Everyone have a blessed Sunday night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. We had a good segment with Cam J Network. Shout outs again to Ferris Dixon Jr. Be looking for Ferris, aka Boomer Dixon's upcoming fight, October the 24th. Also, in your face magazine. In your face magazine. Can you see me? Okay. Okay. In your face magazine here, y'all. And also shout outs to Trill, Kev McFly, and everybody who was helping out with the movement. Also, Ozzy's Catering, located here in Cincinnati, Ohio. If you use Ozzy's Catering, please tell him Ring Walk Boxing Podcast sent you. Once again, shout out to my 1-5 Zone 15 family. And we out. And I'll catch you on the next round. Peace.